The search for a missing Massachusetts mom continues this morning, and personality traits about her husband are now being revealed.
Ana Walshe has not been seen since New Year's Day. Right now, her husband, Brian, is behind bars, charged with misleading police about his whereabouts around the time that his wife vanished. NewsNation has obtained surveillance video from inside a juice bar. It shows the 47-year-old on January 2nd. That was just the day after he told investigators his wife left for her job in D.C. It's one of the only places he told investigators he went. That was true, and maybe it wouldn't be suspicious if his wife had been seen since January 1st. Now people who've crossed paths with Walshe in the past are calling him everything from a con artist to a sociopath, a narcissist, and a violent person. Dr. Daniel Bober is a board-certified forensic psychiatrist and a former mental health policy fellow in the U.S. Senate. You know, Dr. Bober, I have to tell you how appalling it is just to think about the kind of obvious evidence in this case. And it's just so clear. Investigators say Ana Walshe's husband, Brian, looked up how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body online. Isn't that by itself completely incriminating?
Well, it certainly shows consciousness of guilt and attempts to conceal the crime. And you know you're pretty bad when your own father refers to you as a sociopath. So multiple people seem to think that he's a very deceptive, aggressive person. So it certainly doesn't bode well for him in the criminal justice system. I
want to talk a little bit more about the sociopath and the connection to his dad in a second, but there was the hacksaw and the blood found in a dumpster near her mother's home, I believe. The bloody knife found in his basement. I know he's innocent until proven guilty, and not to be too graphic, but law enforcement would know if this is human blood by now. We just have to wait. How long could we find out if this was evidence that Ana was killed?
Oh, I think they probably already know. This guy did everything but leave a trail of breadcrumbs to the police station. So there's just so much here. It's a very strong case for the prosecution.
Brian Walshe, convicted of selling fake Andy Warhol paintings. And in that case, he was going to get a no jail deal, and a judge found out he'd embezzled from his dead father's estate after being written out of the will. Again, you mentioned the sociopath claims. He was on house arrest. He was wearing an ankle bracelet, waiting to be sentenced, and he lied to police. So I looked up the term sociopath just to make sure that I understood exactly what was being said about him. It describes it as being highly antisocial and not having a conscience. But what else does all of this suggest about his behavior?
It suggests to me that this is probably something that he planned out, you know, that this is something that he had in his mind probably for a great deal of time. It wasn't something that he probably did impulsively, although we know sociopaths are impulsive. The fact that he left the house, even with an ankle monitor on, early reports suggested that it was GPS tracked, but I had heard that it was not. So he may have only had to account for the fact that he was out of the house. So he probably was so desperate to get rid of the evidence that he was willing to take the risk that he may be home late and that authorities may know that he was violating his curfew.
So in terms of their marriage, I have to ask you if you know or have heard of anything. There were reports she made more money than him and he was trying to keep up. Does that somehow align with some of the details in this case?
It may. You know, we don't know what his motivations are, but he probably found himself in a precarious situation and he needed to get himself out of it. And he was going to do that any way he could. And sociopaths are known for having a weak or an absent conscience. So they clearly had no qualms about doing something to, you know, extricate himself from the situation.
It's horrific. And there are 3 children, ages 2, 4, and 6 in the middle of all this. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.